Welcome to In Good Fitness. My name is Anthony. I am someone who went from skinny to fit, and these videos are purely educational. So this way, you guys can go ahead, especially if you are someone on the skinnier side, take what you're learning from these videos, apply it, be consistent with it, and get your own results. So for today, we're going to be just talking about some personal mistakes that I made when it comes to muscle building and just dieting in general. So this way, you guys can go ahead and avoid those same mistakes and save you a lot of time because it cost me a lot of time, a lot of progress. And I mean, this is what it cost me, right? Like the first few years, specifically speaking, I'd say the first anywhere between 2 to 4 years, I'd have to say, I was just looking like this. And it was a combination of different factors that came into play when it came to that, right? But all in all, it just kept me looking like this. The pictures that you see on the screen here, obviously pretty skinny. Look at the forearms right there. I mean, I generally, genetically, I have pretty skinny forearms in general, but um, like holy shit, like I just look thin and bones from my perspective, right? Shoulders look okay, not bad. But I was just really lean essentially and wasn't as big as I thought I guess I could be, right? I mean, looking at this now, or I should rather say, back then, my perspective was I looked decent, right? I looked pretty good. I got some results. I mean, the chest is a little bit bigger. Um, abs are kind of there, not really, right? So, but kind of being older now and just like looking back on my progress back then, this is garbage results, honestly. Like it's not good results, and now I know the reasons why, and these are the mistakes that I will share with you guys. But just to piggyback off one more time, just kind of the mistakes and what it cost me. Just final picture to show you guys. I eventually did end up like getting surgery to get rid of some hernias because I was at times ego lifting, and at the time as well, I had a serving job, so I was like on my feet a lot, lifting trays up a lot. So a combination of those different things did not really help the cause at all whatsoever. And so I eventually ended up needing to just take around almost a year's time off of the gym. So I feel like if I did things a little bit better back then, this would have probably been preventable. Maybe down the road, maybe later on in the future, I probably would have needed this same surgery still, but I think it could have been preventable for the foreseeable future, right? Might have been this year, might have been next year, 2 years, 3 years from then, who knows, right? But I guess we'll never know because I didn't take the right measures or the right precautions to prevent something like this from happening in the first place. So that cost me almost a year worth of progress. But moving on to the mistakes itself, because that's why you guys are really watching this video here. Number one is just not training hard enough. Back then, I wouldn't train seriously. I would just honestly half-ass each of my reps. As soon as it started to burn, the given exercise that I was doing started to burn, I would just stop my set immediately, right? I didn't really give it my all. I didn't exert myself. I didn't go that extra mile, as some would say. I just stopped immediately when it started to hurt or started to burn, whatever you want to call it. It's good hurt, in my opinion, at least. I would also do 4 sets of 12 reps with weights that were way too light. Um, and I over prioritized form instead of focusing on a healthy mixture of form and progressive overload. So before I would actually do like you see here, 4 sets of 12 reps with really light weight. But the reason why I was doing weight that was so light is because I wanted to focus on my form. And sure, I had the form side of things down, but I was still lifting this light weight that was really going to give me very, very minimal results at all, right? So little to no results at all whatsoever. And I would also do rest times of 60 to 90 seconds. And this just coincides with me not working hard enough in this particular, section. So just the training section of fitness, right? Just not training hard enough. Because when you do train pretty hard, and you'll see the next slide here, you're going to need more than just 60 to 90 seconds worth of rest. So as you can see here, now I do rest times of 3 minutes because I train with plenty of intensity. So I take 2 sets till failure with a rep range of 6 to 8 reps, as typically if you pick a moderate enough weight, so not too light, but also not too heavy to the point where you need to ego lift or, swing your body around to get the final rep up. But just that sweet spot where the weight is heavy enough but not so light to the point where you can control the form all the way throughout for 2 sets, 6 to 8 reps. And usually within this range, you will reach muscular failure as long as you're putting in that effort, right? So implemented this, and then I not only focused on just my form, but I also focused on progressive overload. And for those that don't know what that is, take a look at my 2 last videos, as that will explain what that is exactly. So that way you guys have a clear perspective of what that is. Now, I also don't overdo it with the weight down of an exercise movement because I remember I would always do like 10-second counts for the negative part of the movement. So, for example, if I were doing like some sort of bicep curl, the way down of the movement is the negative, so the way down. I would do that, or I would just like go super slow for like 10 seconds. But now I only do the way down for 3 seconds because that's the most hypertrophic, or really not the most hypertrophic. I should rephrase that. It is hypertrophic, but anything more than 3 to 4 seconds is not going to make any big difference in terms of your gains, in terms of the results that you get. So I like to follow this count scheme: 3, 1, explode. So essentially, what that is that you do a 3 second count on the way down, and then at the stretch portion or the bottom of the movement, you hold it for 1 second, a slight pause there, and then you just explode on the way up, and then you just go ahead and repeat that process. I do rest times of 3 minutes, like I mentioned already, and then I also do 4 to 6 exercises per training session, nothing more and nothing less, because that's really all that you need. You don't need to spend 2 hours a day, 6 times per week inside of the gym. You can get a really good, effective workout in if you just go 2, 3, 4, 5 times per week. If you have 30 to 60 minutes available, right? You don't need these crazy amount of you need to put these crazy amount of hours or days inside of the gym, right? People who say that are just talking crazy, and that really dissuades people from actually starting their fitness journey in the first place. And it's not a good position for people to be in general, right? Because it takes away from them actually being able to make a good difference inside of their own physical health and mental health, because it's not just the physical aspect of things that the gym helps with, but it's also the mental aspect of things. Number 2 is not tracking my eating. Before, I would almost never track what I was eating. Even if I did, I was super inconsistent with it, right? It'd just be like, oh, I did it for 1 week here, and then the next 2 weeks I did it there. It's just kind of like it was kind of a here and there type of thing. I also wouldn't hit my goal of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight that I weigh, so I was missing out on some good protein. I wouldn't track my weight once per week as well to see if I was making any progress. Was I gaining weight? Was I staying the same in weight, or was I losing weight? And then for a little bit there, I just had that eat everything in sight mentality, because I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna track anything, so I might as well just start eating everything in sight to say that I was eating a bunch of calories, right? But even when I was doing that, that was an every now and then type of thing. It wasn't even super consistent to say that, I was eating everything in sight to gain weight, right? It was just kind of like a here and there type of thing. But now what I do is I track my macros and calories. I track them both using MyFitnessPal. I weigh myself once per week, which is super important to see if you're actually making progress. So if you're in a bulking or cutting phase, definitely make sure to weigh yourself once per week. I don't eat everything in sight. That's dirty bulking, so I don't want to do that, because it'll help, or not help you, but it'll allow for you to gain excess fat that you really don't need at all whatsoever. I eat in a slight caloric surplus, so anywhere between 300 to 500 calories above my maintenance. And obviously, there's times where you plateau in weight. I've plateaued many times during my bulking phases in weight. And then when I reach that point, or when I reach those points, I just add on 300 to 500 more calories on top of what I'm already eating. So that way the scale moves again. And then I just essentially repeat that process throughout my bulking phase. And then last but not least, which is definitely the most important point, I actually hit my daily protein goals. Like, I make an effort to actually hit them, right? So if you need to get protein powder, whatever it is, right, get it for yourself, so that way you can actually hit the protein side of things, because that's very important for muscle building, muscle recovery as well altogether. Number 3 is not sticking to one workout program. I think this is like the biggest reason, or the biggest factor why I wasn't progressive overloading in general, just because I was hopping around from workout program to workout program. I would do it for like a couple of weeks to a month, and then just move on to the next one. So because of this, I wasn't seeing the results that I needed to see for myself, right? Because I was just moving around too much. I was hopping on from workout program to workout program, and I could never really measure my progress inside of the gym. I didn't know if I was getting stronger, was I getting weaker, like what the hell was going on, right? For those given exercises that I was doing. And then it made progressively overloading just near impossible, because I just kept switching so often. And so now I always stick to one program for months at a time, so typically 4 to 6 months. I mean, eventually you just get sick of doing the same exercises every day. So obviously, when that time comes, just switch it out. But don't let it come so early either. Like, if you get sick of it when you're 2 months in, then you're just at a point where I hate to say it, but you just need to suck it up and just keep doing it, right? Because you want to make sure that you have good tangible data to go off from to see if you're getting stronger, if you're actually making progress. And if it gets to the point where you're just so sick of it, I just recommend taking a week off from the gym altogether, so that way you can reset yourself, because it's likely that you're just kind of burnt out and you just need a good reset. So usually taking a week and a half off will do the trick. And when you come back, you're usually a lot more amped up, a lot more hyped up, a lot more energetic, and you feel like you're ready to hit the workout ahead. So now I'm able to progressively overload a lot more effectively, just because I'm actually sticking to one concise workout program for months at a time, and I'm actually able to see if I'm getting stronger, right, on the exercises that I perform. And spoiler alert, I end up getting stronger, not week after week, but I end up getting stronger on my lifts, on all my exercises, because of just sticking to this one rule of sticking to one workout program, months at a time. All right, number 4 is cutting too early. It's kind of the same thing, or not the same thing, sorry. I don't know why I was saying that. But before, I would switch up on my eating because I was too afraid of gaining fat. Or no, that's why I was saying it's the same thing. Yeah, it is the same thing in a sense, because I would just like hop from bulking phase to bulking phase, or I would hop from bulking phase to cutting phase, from bulking phase to cutting phase again, and then bulking phase to cutting phase again. And I would do excess cardio. I would do all this unnecessary stuff, instead of just letting one full bulking phase take its hold, essentially, or just be consistent with it for months at a time, because it would only last for 1 to 2 months. And like when you do it for 1 to 2 months, you're going to see very minimal progress. Not if you were doing it for 3 to 4 months, or even just a little bit more farther beyond that. So doing all of that was just making me lose the little muscle that I had already gained, because I didn't even know how to do a proper cut back then, right? And I also did excessive cardio, which is not good at all whatsoever. And sure, this all made my six pack defined, but I was literally just a skeleton with abs, and that's it, right? There's nothing fabulous or wow factor about that, you know? So I was doing those things back then, but now, just kind of like moving forward presently, now I do proper bulking phases. They last anywhere between 3 to 4 months, sometimes a little bit more. The one I did before lasted a while. I'd say like 6 to 8 months, somewhere around the time frame. And if you're able to go for longer, do it. That's why I decided to go for longer, just because I felt like I was able to take it. And low key, I kind of do like bulking a lot more than cutting, just because I feel like I have like more leniency in terms of the foods that I eat. Like, I'm not saying I pig out every time, right? No, but I just, every now and then, like when the weekend comes, I will be a little bit more relaxed in what I eat, because I am able to do so, because I stuck with the eating plan that I had for the week ahead, or for the week that just came. Stuck to my training, stuck to everything. So I want to not pig out in a sense, but just enjoy what I'm eating when the weekend rolls around. Not saying that you can't do that when you're cutting, because obviously you can make tasty foods, or just purchase healthier options when you're eating out or whatever. But it's just a personal preference at that point for myself. So currently I am on a cutting phase, so I'm not planning on doing any excessive cardio. If anything, what I'm doing presently is just going out on daily walks. I guess like not 7 times per week. Let me rephrase that. I only go out for walks around 5 times per week. Usually walk 2.5 to 3 miles. So that way I can just get my steps in. It gets me really worked up as well. I get a good sweat in. And then obviously, like, the biggest factor is just making sure that my eating is in check. Not making sure that I'm not overdoing it in terms of eating certain foods, and just getting some steps in general, kind of like what I mentioned here before already. And then last but not least, we have supplements, and thinking that they would do the trick. Back then, I honestly thought that supplements were kind of like the holy grail of lifting. Like, if I took this certain supplement, I would look fucking crazy. But, it's just not realistic, and it's not the truth at all, right? Because most supplements out there nowadays are just total and utter bullshit, right? There are only 2 supplements outside of just fish oils, multivitamins, and those other essential, right, vitamins that you need, and minerals for your body. Outside of just that, there are only 2 supplements that I truly believe in, just because there's so much research done on them, and that is creatine and protein powder, right? Because back then, I thought, buying BCAAs, mass gainers, protein powder, creatine, and all these different kind of things would just make me look really good. Because my favorite fitness influencers were taking them at the time, and they just promoted them. But that's not how it works at all whatsoever. Like, you need to put in the work, right? There's no skipping around doing the work. There's no magic pill that you can take that allows for you to skip doing months upon years upon decades of work to build a really good physique, or a really good, just physique in general, right? Like, you actually still need to put in the work, and there's nothing that's going to take away from that in terms of a magic pill or whatnot. Maybe in the future, since I know there's a lot of advancements going on with just science, medicine altogether. I forget what that pill is called. What's it called? It's a weight loss pill that I feel like I've been seeing it all over the place as of recently now. Ozempic? I don't even know what it's called specifically, but that pill right there specifically, that's something that I'm referring to, right? Like that does help people lose weight, and it does work, I guess, for certain people. It depends on your situation, of course. Like I'm not saying everyone should take it. No, because I feel like at the end of the day, that does take away from the hard work that you need to put in and you need to do. Because doing this will transform you into a different person, right? I don't want to get all woo woo or anything like that, right? I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But it is the truth. When you put in work, when you put pressure onto yourself, you start to form yourself into a different person, right? It's like the saying, pressure forms diamonds, and there's a lot of truth into saying that. So don't be like me and think like just buying a bunch of supplements or taking supplements or whatever the case is for yourself will get you these magical results in a very quick time frame, because that's not the case at all. Like you still need to put in the work, you still need to put in the effort, and there's no going around that, right? For the time being, at least. If there's some magic potion down the road in the future, and if you want to take it, by all means, go ahead. Hell, I'd even be curious to take it. You know, why not? But in terms of now, presently, what I do, you know, I only buy creatine and protein powder, and that's it. Maybe a multivitamin here and there. But creatine and protein powder is the only thing I only buy. Obviously, just the protein powder is just to meet my daily protein goals, because sometimes I do struggle to meet that. So I just get it for that purpose. And creatine is just really great for muscle recovery, just more energy as well. And it makes you look bigger, right? Not insanely amount of, not like anything crazy, right? But just a little bit, small percentage point. But as I mentioned already, I don't expect those supplements to make me look like a Greek god or expect them to put in the work for me, because I know I still need to do that on my part. And most importantly, I'm just overall consistent with everything that I put in, right? Inside of the gym and outside. So rest and recovery, eating and training as well. Because when you're not dialed in one of those areas of fitness, you start to see very minimal results, right? Like you need to be dialed in everything. Your training, your eating, your rest and recovery. So that way you can actually see the results, see the progress that you want to see for yourself. But that does cover it for today. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, just so that way my video gets out there on the algorithm. It gets seen a little bit more. Comment down below if there's something in specific you guys want to see in terms of a video idea. And one more time, I don't think I mentioned this actually already, but if there's someone who's interested in one-to-one coaching, the link for that will be down below in the description, so feel free to check that out. But until the next one, guys, take care, and much love to you all.